Can't read my writing. Is that Rogers? Reagan, I'm sorry. Mr. Reagan, will you come forward, please? I may have gotten that name wrong. Okay, I'll start here and we'll go forth. Shore, I believe it is. Yes, Mr. Shore. That's right. Wait a minute. I know who you are now, Mary. I got you.
I'm Larry Shore, 504 Calderwood Highway, and I'm concerned about item 5. And I want to say in the beginning that I believe that applause at public meetings is a constitutional right of freedom of speech. And I know that everyone won't come up and speak here, but we can have citizens that have elected you to represent them be at the meetings and listen to the people that do come up and talk, and the applause indicates how they feel on the agenda, what the thing that we're talking about, the issues. And so I would think that you as commissioners would welcome applause, because it's a means of knowing how the citizens feel about items. And so if you don't want applause, it makes me think that you really don't want to hear from the citizens and hear their opinions, because the applause is not for the person that's up there speaking, but what he has said or what they have said and on the issues. And so it's an indication of how the people feel. So it should be something that you are very concerned about. And so I ask you to please don't vote to restrict the applause at our public commission meetings, because it does give the citizens, as I say again, that elected you to represent them, an opportunity to voice their opinions. And so I thank you for that and ask you to please don't restrict our applause. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, would you come up? Yes.
My name is Mary Gregory, and I live in Townsend, Tennessee, and I have been coming before this commission for many, many years. And I would just like to say that I thank you for being a commissioner, and I would like to ask the audience that since I have been coming for so long, I have a little bit of experience, and I would ask that everyone maintain their presence and realize that we're doing county business, that you all are doing county business, and appreciate that fact. And this is not a popularity contest. And you will never win a popularity contest by doing things. You voted for things that I didn't like, but I haven't screamed and yelled at you, because that's the way we do things in America. We let everybody speak their piece. And all I'd say is I would like to see these commission meetings handled in a professional manner, where we view and say our oppositions to things, but we don't have to act like it is a popularity contest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Berger. Okay, I've got, I believe that's right, R-A-B-I-E-N, right? Yes, sir.
I'm Lynn Rapian, and I live at 126 Ridge Road, and lived there since 1978, and unlike this young lady, this is my first commission meeting, although I attended the workshop. And I attended, first of all, I appreciate all you commissioners and Honorable Mayor giving me the opportunity to speak to you all. I never attended before, because I thought when we elected the officials, they would do the right thing and conduct the business properly, and I still believe that. But I believe in sitting in the workshop the other day, I believe it was Mr. Jim Foltz here that gave a little talk on Republicans, and I believe all of us here are Republicans. And when I grew up a Republican, been that all my life, I believed in less government control. I believed in fewer taxes or reducing taxes, in spending very frugally, dead set against abortion. That little girl wouldn't be here if I believed in it. And everybody of good character. And as I see it and I listened, I do believe everybody here is of good character, and I believe if we took a hand vote, everybody would be against abortion. But I'm beginning to question the credentials of the others who say they're Republicans, First of all, I respected the mayor very much when he vetoed the tax increase, and I was very disappointed when the commission overrode the tax increase, especially in the ones that represented me. Mr. Farmer, I believe, Mr. Moon, and I believe Mr. Hasty. But I still was satisfied that that's the way it had to be. And then I read in the paper about the commission mauling, regulating applause. And I thought, sure to God, that must be wrong. They got bigger fish to fry, I thought. So I decided that we'd attend the meeting, and I brought my 3 daughters, who quite frankly, one will be old enough to vote in 5 years, one 6, and one 9. And they're going to get involved in politics because I think it's very necessary. And I'm watching that clock because I'm running out of time fast, so I'm going to speed ahead here. I asked them after the workshop what they thought of the workshop. And I believe DeLorean here said it best. She was sitting in the back seat. And she said, I can't believe, Dad, that they're voting to restrict applause when I read just a little while back in the newspaper that a soldier died defending our rights of freedom, of free speech, and yet people were allowed to protest his funeral. That upset her, that upset me. But I explained to her that he died giving her that right. But I'm asking you, please, vote no on this, and let's get on to bigger things. And if you vote yes, we're going to abide by it because we're law-abiding citizens, and nobody's above the law, nobody's below the law. We're all treated equal. And we'll be here at the meetings from now on. Thank you all very much.
Mr. King.
Thank you. I'm Linda King with Citizens for Blount County. I live in District 4. And I think you just heard applause from this audience. What was wrong with that? It took about 7 seconds probably. It was people agreeing with what someone got up here and said. It didn't hurt the decorum in this room. I do agree with decorum. But we have officers in this room that if someone hoots and hollers, as some commissioners have said, or gets disruptive or unruly, they're here to remove those people. But applause is not unruly. Applause is a freedom of expression. It's under the First Amendment, and it says we have free speech. Would you prefer to have every one of those people that just applauded to get up here and speak instead? That's a time saving for you to just know that there are people out here agreeing with someone who's speaking. You are all Republicans. You ran on a platform saying you believed in the Constitution. Then how can you vote against our free speech? Just recently in Nashville, several protesters disrupted a meeting of their Senate committee there. And several of them left when they were asked to do that. But 7 of them stayed and chanted and held arms together, saying they wouldn't leave the meeting. They were arrested and removed from the meeting. Went to court, and the judge upheld their right to free speech and found them not guilty. We've done no such thing in this meeting. All we do is get up here and applaud if we agree with what someone says. If we don't, we sit there silently. And we haven't just applauded for the citizens. We have applauded for commissioners on many occasions when we have agreed with what they've said. So I don't understand how you can, as Republicans, want to take away a right that is granted us under the Constitution and by our Maker, our free speech. Thank you.
Mr. Ball.
My name is Troy Ball. I live in District 7. I'll be commenting on item F5. The idea of banning applause by citizens in the name of decorum is a ruse. It's appalling that a citizen is not allowed to express approval for one another, but they are expected to clap for egocentric accolades. If applause is banned, then all applause should be banned. Wouldn't it be a shame if we couldn't have applauded for Mr. Swanson and the service he provided to this country? Think about that.
Mr. French. Do I have a French? Again, I can't read my writing. Okay, we'll go to Ms. Ball.
About 3 years ago, I became a regular attender of these meetings. Prior to that, I was sporadic. I became a regular attender because I was concerned about what was going on in this county, in this country, in this state. And one of the things that a couple of years ago I heard off the agenda was a commissioner make a comment about a bumper sticker that he saw that he didn't like, and it said, "Blount County, the crookedest little county in the South." Now, that commissioner is actually the chairman now. So I would like to say that if you all ban applause, I'm going to get some new bumper stickers made that say, "Welcome to Blount County, don't applaud." Thank you.
Mr. Hutchins.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Sherry Turner French, and I'm a citizen of Blount County and a business owner of Alpha Omega Legal Specialists. I ran for County Commissioner in District 6, and I lost to the incumbent Holden Lael. I've monitored your actions for a number of years, and I'm going to continue to monitor the action for another number of years. It appears that Blount County departments are becoming more a look-alike of the state and federal government departments, where you're wanting to control the support or the non-support of the actions or the lack of actions of the decisions made here in Blount County. The citizens of Blount County want and desire a smaller government. They do not want the infringement of their constitutional rights of the people for freedom of speech. And we will continue to protest and issue petitions, so therefore our voices can be heard. Not everyone has the demeanor to stand here before you and voice their opinion. So therefore, a handful of the citizens of Blount County must do so. Applause is for the support and or non-support of the citizens of the Blount County Commission and the citizens who speak before you. It is our right to have our voices heard. Thank you.
Mr. Hutchins.
It has been suggested by several members of this board that passing Rule 4G is needed to address disturbing behavior by some citizens. The chairman is quoted in the Daily Times that, quote, "Sometimes it gets out of control. You hear some hollering and going on. That is what bothers me," end quote. Anyone who comes to these meetings or watches it on cable knows that there has been no hollering or other disrespectful behavior to even come close to justifying this rule to ban all citizen applause unless it's government approved. Let's get past the political rhetoric and get down to the real truth. The real truth is that over the years, citizens have justifiably criticized many of the public decisions made by this board. I find it interesting that rather than this board defending these public decisions, they defend themselves, acting as if citizens have made personal attacks to their character. The real truth is that this board cannot defend your failure to even try to reduce the over 20% waste in our taxes, your failure to even try to control the overspending by our county department heads, your failure to even try to reduce the $250 million debt, and your failure to even try to not put the burden of your mismanagement of our county on those who can least afford it, the taxpayer. Make no mistake, applause is not the issue. Maintaining decorum is not the issue. The real truth is this board can't defend its public decisions made in your capacity as public officials. So instead, your solution is this transparent attempt to quell the justifiable criticism by banning applause by citizens. Let us call it exactly what it is. This is yet another pathetic example of small-minded, big-ego politicians who would rather trample on our most sacred rights of free speech than for you to have to endure 6 seconds of citizen applause criticizing your failures. I predict that after this rule is adopted and citizens are still bringing attention to this board's repeated failures, it won't be long before this board passes another rule prohibiting citizens from addressing the board altogether. Thank you.
Mr. Rose.